So here's my project in Unity. As you can see, I got basic terrain set up here, and basically a flat world. And then over here is my canvas, which is what I've been working on lately. And for my canvas, it actually has, let's just go over the game view. You see it actually has four different tabs here: structural, units, interior, exterior. But all, and you can switch between those, but all of the panels um, are actually empty until the game actually starts running at runtime. Then it generates the UI based on what is in these folders here under the resource folder, prefabs. And so it actually looks in here and determines that, say, there's two units in here and there's one structure in here, and so it adds those in. Exterior, interior don't have anything, so those will be left empty. So here we'll go ahead and start the game up. So as you can see, actually let's go ahead and go full screen on that. So as you can see, the UI is generated. This UI scales with resolution, and it's left here anchored to the bottom. And so we can see our one foundation was found, and our two units were found. Interior, exterior are empty. Um, And so the first thing I want to show off is the camera. With this camera, this is the RTS camera that I coded. Um, it allows you to do WASD movements that go left, right, forward, and back. They actually it starts off at a certain speed, and then as you continue to hold the button, it actually increases in speed. It gets faster and faster until you release. Also, holding down right click allows you to do mouse look. This allows you to move around, but it is, or look around, but it is capped at about horizon level, slightly below it, and also here looking straight down. So this allows you to make sure you don't go upside down with the camera. Um, when you can use this in combination with the WASD keys to fly around and look at things. And then the last thing with the RTS camera is mouse scroll up and down. Use the mouse wheel, you actually change elevation of the camera, and you can come down to ground level. It will restrict you from going under the ground, um, and you can actually see here. Then you can look at your guys in ground level, check out what's going on, check out a game object, and then you can actually fly it back up and continue building from top-down view if you want. So here we go. Between the only functionality of clicking on these unit buttons right now is that it spawns a bunch of those units in the game. No real point to it, but it's kind of, that's just my first test to see if I can spawn stuff in a random location. Also, but the main thing I've been working on is the structural. So the foundation, if you click anything in the structural tab, you actually can place it, build place. Um, so this actually will allow you to place. Um, the Y elevation is locked, but you move the X and Z. It actually has checks for whether it's colliding with terrain or another game object. If it turns red, then you cannot place it. Left click does nothing. But if it's green, left click places it, and now it's a permanent object in the world. We can place as many of those as we want simply by clicking them. Um, I want to actually add it, so if this is supposed to be a foundation, um, you'd want to say make a large foundation from here to here. I want to be able to make like a drag select, so you drag out a big or a large amount of foundation blocks. I'm not sure how I'm going to do that yet, but that's going to be the next thing I'm going to be working on. But yeah, this actually works. You can actually place stuff into the world, which is pretty cool. And it does some basic checks whether you place it. Also, it prevents you from clicking. If you say want to deselect, you can just deselect. It won't actually place it. It'll destroy the object. It knows you're over the UI, and it will account for that. So if you say go in here and then you click here, you won't actually place because you're over the UI. As soon as you get out of that UI, then you'll place. Um, but yeah, that's about it. Oh, and last, I've actually these black red guys actually have animations. So they actually can run if I hold down H, and they'll run, and they'll actually activate their animation. So I set up the animation controller for these guys based on their speed value to go into a running animation, and then when they stop moving, they actually return to the idle position. But obviously, they're not set up very well. You're not intended to actually specifically control units. Those will be controlled by say an A-star pathfinding algorithm, and you might not have direct control over them. You'll just be controlling the camera. But yeah, that's it so far. Last thing I wanted to show you. Oh well, one more thing is that the camera does have a boundary check with the terrain, so you can't actually go outside of the terrain. So that's another thing the camera does. But yeah, so the last thing I want to show you, if we go back to the world, is how easy it is to actually add more objects into our UI. So if we go into our resources, prefab, structural, and say we duplicate these. This would be as if you were adding, say, more structures. You can see that you would just simply throw these in, and then the other thing you would need to do is you need to give them the script, structure script. This allows you to specify your icon, just simply a 100 by 100 PNG. So there's your icon, and you're able to specify that, and also the rollover icon for each game object. And then with that, you're good to go. It will automatically generate. And so if we go back into the game, we now have all these foundations. And if it has more than what can fit on the screen, we actually can use the scroll bar to see them all. And each of these tabs has its own scroll bar as well, so we can scroll between them if there's enough objects to use it. But yeah, so these can all obviously are ready to instantiate, no problem, and they're instantiating the correct game object. But yeah, so that's it. The last thing I guess I'll show you here is the debug console, where you can see I've printed what happens when the game starts running. It does building interface. It finds the two units here. You can see it's done loading the units, and it found two. Then it found all those foundations, and it found 29 of them. And then you can see the interface is ready. So yep, that's it. But for now, this is all I got.